Are you ready to go in circles with rulers? Join us today as we have some fun with all the circle rulers. Welcome to Handi Quilter Watch and Learn. I'm Kim Sandberg and
I'm Kristina Whitney.
And today we are raining rulers, right?
We are. We've got some of the circle rulers. So we've got the full circle set.
Yes, which is right here. And
the half circle set,
which is right here.
Fabulous. Okay, so the full circle set. This is a set of 5 different sizes. Okay, so the largest is 12 inches and the smallest is 4 inches. Okay, so you've got a little bit of variety there. Now, if we look at the half circle set, this one is a set of 4, but this one has different sizes. So it goes, let's see, I think 9, 7, 5, and 3. So they're the even numbers, whereas this one is the odd numbers. No, that's the other way around. These are odd numbers. These are even. No, I give up.
Odd, even.
Yes, that's what I meant
Half,
to say.
whole.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to go through and do a little bit of stitching with these different rulers.
Okay.
Give some tips. I'll just throw those out of the way there.
Gotcha.
Okay. So solid circle set. So this is the big one, the 12.
That is a big circle.
Yep. Here's a 10. And you're going to notice there's a difference between those two. This one, I just haven't taken the film off. So remember, film on both sides, got to take those off. Okay, then our 8, our 6, and our little 4. Okay. So I'm going to bring the machine over here. I've already got my ruler base on. I've got my Surefoot on.
Okay.
Now, when doing ruler work, especially with circles, it's always a good idea to put handy grip on. And I'll probably show you why that's important when I do my stitching. But I'm going to start over here kind of on the side for the design that I'm going to be doing. Oh, and we didn't talk about on the packaging.
Yes.
The packaging, there's a bunch of design ideas on the back of all of the ruler packages. So we're going to do one of them from there. And I'm going to change my settings. I'm going to do 12 stitches per inch on a cruise. I usually do a slow cruise. You can also do precision, whatever you're comfortable with. But I always like to have it stop with the needle in the down position. Okay. So I'm going to bump up my line. So I've got the base line of the circle, my diameter there, radius, diameter. Oh goodness, I need to work on my math skills.
Geometry lesson this afternoon.
Odds, evens, diameter, radius. Okay, so I'm putting pressure on the ruler and I'm going to just stitch around, hugging up against that ruler. Now, if the ruler was bigger, I would probably need to adjust my hand placement a little bit earlier. Now, I want to point something out here. As you're hugging the ruler, you can see I started to go off of the ruler just a little tiny bit there. With circle rulers, it's very important that you hug up against that ruler. Now, I've paused the machine because I've got to change my hand position because my arm is going to be in the way. So I'm going to use one hand holding it down, switch to the other hand, and then continue stitching around. Now my ruler just shifted a tiny bit as I did that. That's why it's really important to have handy grip on if you don't want the ruler to move at all. Okay, when I get back up to that beginning, I'm going to pause. And then I'm going to change to a different ruler. One thing I'm going to do though real quick before I do that is I'm going to mark kind of my center point. And you've got these other markings on here that you could use also, for instance, if you wanted to just stitch only up to the 60 or to the 45. There's lots of different things that you can do there. But I'm going to take my next size, this is the 6-inch. I'm going to line that base line up with my foot and my needle. And then I'm going to kind of eyeball making sure it's lined up here. You could also draw a line all the way across before you ever get started. So we're going to stitch along here, hugging that ruler, and pause it, holding the ruler in position, change my hand, and continue on. And we'll do one more. Same exact steps. You'll notice that my hand positioning is changing a little bit depending on the size of the ruler. Sometimes I have just some fingers on there, sometimes I have like my whole hand. And you'll just play around with the rulers to see what you're comfortable with. Okay, so that's
Awesome.
a fun little idea there that you can do with those circle rulers. Bring up this bobbin thread.
That is a fun design.
You know what it reminds me of?
An eyeball?
I was going to say the eyeball from the quilt that you did. Which quilt was that you did eyeballs on?
It's my trellis quilt.
The trellis
I was
quilt,
just thinking
yes.
that. I still need to finish that quilt, by the way.
And I'm going to just draw a line along here for this next one.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one that we're going to be working with are our half circles. So we've got our, oh, I think I lied. We've got an 11-inch, a 9-inch, 7-inch, and a 5-inch.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna,
All odd numbers.
yes, but I think I thought the 7th was the second largest. Anyway,
It's all good.
it's all good. Okay, so those are the sizes. Now, between these two sets, you've got every inch increment.
Mm-hmm.
If, however, you have something that doesn't fit, like the space that you're wanting to fill, what you can easily do is use one of the echo feet, and you can add on to these and make it just a little bit bigger
Okay.
to make it fit exactly how you want it. So I've got one ruler here. So between my Surefoot and these three, I've got 4 different sizes that I can do right there.
That's great.
Okay, so I'm going to just set those aside. Now with the half circle, you'll notice it's got the baseline along here, where those angles all cross. That's what you're going to line up if you're lining it up like on a seam. So I'm going to bring this up, and I would line that up on my nice straight seam that I drew. And then I would just stitch along the ruler. If I wanted to kind of do an echo, I could shift it up so that the dotted line is now on there.
Oh.
And it's not going to be a perfect echo, but it'll offset it just a tiny bit. And you'd stitch around.
Awesome.
Okay, so instead of stitching that out right now, what I'm going to do is show you a quilt real quick.
That you're currently using these rulers on, right?
Yes, and it's in progress, so it's not done yet.
That's okay. We like seeing in progress.
Okay, so can we see that here? And of course I just buried my ruler. So I was using that half circle ruler, and I used one of the echo feet and just stitched around all the way on my quilt. And you'll notice I've got these blue marks where I marked the spacing because it didn't fit perfectly. So I would just have to adjust the ruler just a tiny bit. So I marked out the length of my border, broke it up into how many pieces I needed, marking it here, and then I found the halfway point of each of those. So then as I was stitching along, I would start here, start stitching, 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 and if I needed to, I could adjust the ruler as needed when I get to the halfway point, and then again when I get to the end. So it's just little tiny, tiny movements of that ruler to make it fit the space that I needed to fit in. Okay? And then I had my echo foot to go around as well.
Very cool.
Okay.
I love what you did in the corner there too, how you had the two overlap just to create that
Isn't
nice
that fun?
little melon shape.
Yeah, and then I didn't have to think about how to get them to line up just perfectly. So we actually have some video footage showing me stitching on this quilt. So we'll watch that real quick. might notice that I took my handy grip off. Sometimes I want to be able to shift that ruler just a little bit, and without the handy grip that makes it a little bit easier. You'll also notice that I'm still maintaining control of the ruler. My hand placement is next to where I'm stitching. So I've changed back to my sure foot, and I'm still using the same size ruler, but now with the sure foot I'm able to do a smaller circle inside, creating a channel along here. So we're going to line this up. So the ruler is actually being held in the same spot, but since I've changed to the smaller foot, it's going to stitch a smaller half circle. Circle.
All right, well, that was fun to watch, Kristina, seeing that ruler, that set of rulers in action on a real project. Really fun to see.
Yeah, and it's fun using those markings and just playing around.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of times we get overwhelmed and think, oh, I've got to use this mark for this and this. Just use what works for you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's great. Well, thanks for all those tips for using all of our different circle, the full circle and the half circle rulers. If you're interested in purchasing those, you can always go to handiquilter.com or visit your local Handi Quilter retailer. Thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe. And if you'd like to see one of your quilts featured at the end of our video, be sure to use that hashtag HandiQuilter anytime you post pictures of your quilts on social media. And have fun quilting.